In this episode, everything I say will be noted down and summarized to perfection. We're talking transcripts. I'm Mike Russell.
I'm Isabella Russell.
And welcome to AI Tools for Creators. One thing I wish a transcription tool could do, Isabella, is get your name correct. You're not Isabella, you're Izabella. If only transcriptions could get that.
I think that then you would really need to pronounce my name the way it was intended, which is Isabella. Not Isabella. It's Isabella.
Isabella.
It's Italian. Isabella is Italian. I'm Isabella, which is Polish. There you go. Get this right. If my husband can't get my name right, there is no hope for AI. Can we just be clear?
Okay.
Okay.
Just to say at the front of this episode, actually, there's a transcription going on right now as we record it inside the platform we use to record episodes, which is Riverside. And by the way, this and everything else we mentioned in the episode will be linked in the show notes. Some of them are affiliate links, so it helps us out if you use them. So thanks very much. So yeah, Riverside's really good. Let's start with Riverside because they support 100 plus languages and they are really good at accurately transcribing and giving you the possibility to correct words such as Isabella.
Just a quick introduction. We would like to introduce you to a lot of AI tools on how to transcribe your audio and video. Some of them are free. It's a quick summary of what's currently available because we believe that transcriptions are important. And why are transcriptions important, Mike?
Well, they make your content more accessible to other people who may not listen to the audio or may not be able to listen to audio if they have a loss of hearing. Then that is a good reason enough.
Absolutely. Plus, YouTube has released some data not a long time ago where most people watch on mute, actually, and they rely, quite a lot of people on the move. So when you're on a mobile usage, a lot of it is on mute, especially with shorts, and people rely on captions, which obviously come from your transcriptions, to consume the content. And also what it does allow you to do, especially on YouTube, if you put native language transcriptions in, so if you upload them in, even though YouTube generates their own, you then have ability to auto-translate to any language that Google Translate supports, which is fantastic because within a couple of clicks, you can make your video accessible to people from all around the world. And that is not possible unless you upload transcripts of your video to YouTube.
You have the ability to access a wider audience in terms of those who couldn't listen to your content and also those who don't speak your own language using transcription and translation using the plethora of AI tools, and a number of them we're going to mention in this episode. As we get into the list, so obviously I jumped the gun a little bit with Riverside. I wanted to actually start on my phone. So for those of you who are watching, if you're listening, I'll describe what I'm doing. But if you're watching or you want to go and rewatch, I've got an app on my phone. I'm going to hit record.
And now you can hear Isabella's eye roll.
No, you can't hear Isabella because it's not recording you. But if you're watching this, it's transcribing everything that I'm saying. And I use this app quite a lot when I'm brainstorming with Isabella. And she always says random things like, you're being so unintuitive and this is so ridiculous. And because it summarizes everything that you say, it actually gives you keywords. And usually when I've had a chat with Isabella, the keywords that summarize will be ridiculous, unintuitive. So that's just our chats. But to make this summary useful, what I'm actually going to do is tell you a little bit about each tool very briefly and then see if this does a good summary by the end of the episode. So we'll talk about Riverside, the platform we're using to record this podcast. Riverside is fantastic. We'll also talk about this app, which is called Otter.ai, and it does real-time transcription notes, as you can probably see there. We'll also probably throw in Premiere Pro because it's got great on-device transcription. We might talk about Meta with seamless M4T and multi-language. We might throw in Descript, and we might throw in Sonix as well, and also a really cool app that has AI built in, and we really like the developer as well. He's a nice chap. That's why we're going to talk about Whisper Transcribe that uses OpenAI's API to transcribe what you say. Anyway, that's enough of using Otter. Let's see what summary it makes of this. Press the stop, and there we go. It's going to transcribe and summarize, and by the end of the episode, we'll come back to that transcript and tell you how well it did.
So you touch on a really important thing, and actually how transcripts enable you to create summaries, create perhaps show notes, create blog posts, essentially create a written content on the back of what you've recorded already. And I think that this is a massive time-saving hack because you can use tools such as ChatGPT for automatic chapter creation for your YouTube video, or for creating show notes for your podcast, or converting your audio or video into a blog post that you want to publish on your WordPress site. So this is incredible wealth of opportunities that you are otherwise missing. So if you haven't delved into the world of AI transcripts, it's time to do so. So with number one, Mike has already mentioned, and it is Riverside.fm. We have been using Riverside for quite some time already. Actually, I think we've had accounts for over 2 years now. We used to record our episodes on Riverside, and it's just a great all-around tool. I believe it's free up to a certain amount of hours recorded. So if you want to give it a try, head on over to mrc.fm/Riverside.fm and try it for yourself, as it's completely free for, I believe, the first 2 hours. And the code MRC will actually give you a nice discount on top of that too. So how about that?
Really exciting. Yeah, just to reiterate what Isabella said about Riverside. Absolutely love it. Use it every single week to record podcasts and think that it's awesome. So while it's primarily for content creators, and they keep announcing recently, I haven't been able to keep up new AI additions. So there's always something new going in. So by the time this episode is out, it'll probably be out of date because there'll be something really groundbreaking that we haven't mentioned, because they're literally releasing stuff all the time that helps creators. But not only creators, we've used it as there's a video on my YouTube channel where I talk about how AI has changed my life and made me more productive. We actually, sometimes we have brainstorming meetings inside Riverside, and then we'll download the transcript and I'll put it into something like Claude or ChatGPT and ask for a summary. And what is really interesting before we move to the next tool, Isabella, is to say, and I'm going to refer back to my solo episode about large language models and APIs that you didn't show up on because it was boring, according to you. I discovered in my research for that episode that if you're doing summaries of transcripts, ChatGPT 3.5 or the lesser intelligent quote-unquote large language models are actually sufficient for summarization, and you should really be using GPT-4 for complex problems, coding, and figuring out new ideas. So really interesting to know, if you're spending money on API usage, 3.5 or lesser models can actually do summarization really well. You don't need to be paying high fees to use the latest GPT-4 model or whatever else. So with that said,
in all honesty, it's like normal users like me will not be like, oh, am I using 3, 4? What is it? It's like, I'm just using ChatGPT, Mike.
You just go to chat.openai.com, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. So,
but it still has, if you have a Plus account, at the top, it'll say 3.5 or 4. Which one do you want to use?
So I always use 4.
And so that's absolutely fine. Now, even though they've increased the usage of ChatGPT 4, there is still a max limit. And if you're doing quite a lot of work, you can run out of it and it can say, no more left for you, matey. You'll have to wait 3 hours. And if that is the case, I would just advise, if you have a Plus account and you don't want to hit your limit, even as a web interface user, if you're doing summarization a lot, switch over to 3.5. No need to burn through your 4 credits.
There you go. Good tip. Thank you for that.
Let's move on and let's talk about the next tool. Let's talk about the tool that I demonstrated just a moment ago called Otter.ai. It's an app that you can download for your iPhone. You can download it on Android. It also has a brilliant and intuitive web interface as well. Otter is really good at recording in real time and summarizing as you go. So as you're talking, it's putting the text in front of you. It's starting to show up keywords related to your conversation. You can highlight parts of your meeting as you use it. I haven't done that with you, Isabella, yet, because I know it would annoy you if I started highlighting what you'd said as I was talking to you. But you can do that. And it also has a plugin that works with things like Google Meet and Zoom and other meeting apps. So you can, obviously with consent, you can record people with the Otter bot bot or whatever that sits in on your call and summarizes stuff later. And we'll talk about this a little bit more at the end of the episode because I'll bring up the summary. It takes a few minutes to do it, and you can recall your meetings and be super productive.
So just to add, Otter.ai has a free plan. You can get 300 monthly transcription minutes, okay, which 30 minutes per conversation, and you can import and transcribe 3 audio or video files like lifetime. So obviously, if you wanted to use it regularly, you would need to upgrade, and the plans go from $10 to $20 or more. Well, it could be more depending whether you pay monthly or annually. But it's an interesting one, I think, for the fact that it gives you live transcriptions and summaries. But I will be honest with you, Mike, it's nothing you can't get potentially for free already or with existing tools you might be already using because, so it's kind of like, you can easily reach tool overload. And to me, personally, Otter is that. It's a tool overload. Like, I wouldn't necessarily do it. I see how it helps you, but I think it's highly individual use case on that front.
That's a really good point, Isabella. I agree with you. It might be overload, especially for most people who already have enough tools or things that do what they need. I think you managed to break down really well there the cost of Otter.ai. And what I like about it is, as you rightly mentioned, it has a free plan. And in my opinion, it's probably one of the best free transcription tools out there if you use it for a certain use case. So if you're importing lots of audio files and you want them transcribed, you're going to need to pay. If you're going into regular meetings on Zoom, Google Meet, whatever, and you want to record them and transcribe them and, have notes and talk with the AI chat inside it, then you probably, again, want to pay. But if you're using it for me, so let me just say this right now, at this present time, I am not, nor have I ever paid for Otter.ai because I'm using it for one specific thing, and that is it's on my phone. And whenever Isabella says, I've got a great idea, can we discuss? I'm like, hang on a second. And because I'm an audio person, right? And actually I've realized about myself that I learn really well from audio transcriptions and audio in general. So for me, this is like my superpower in my pocket now. So because I forget things you tell me, and you've even told, this is specific to me, and I know I'm not the only one that struggles with this, but you say to me a lot, Isabella, I tell you things and you forget them. Now, I don't want to be stereotypical, but there are probably a lot of wives listening to this podcast right now saying, that's my husband. Because men don't listen. Men do not listen. But with Otter in my pocket, so here's a tip for you. If you want to be a really good husband, a really great father and a really good husband, make sure to put Otter in your pocket. Otter has changed my life with my wife, and I'm not lying about that. The moment Isabella says, I've got something important to tell you, I'm like, hang on, honey, can we record this? And I tell you what, I never forget anything she's told me now, especially when it relates to business. I'll go in, and because it has a web app as well, if I've recorded on my phone, I can then go sit down at my desk, load Otter up in a window, look at what we've said, summarize it, chat with Otter.ai, and take action. And I feel empowered.
I think that this is really sad, as my husband has just openly admitted that he needs a brain supporting tool for his day-to-day functioning in marriage. So there you go. That's that. Look at it as you will. Let's move on.
On that note, we could end the episode here. Just download the Otter app, and just anytime your wife or your husband, because of course it can work both ways. No. Backtrack.
No woman will ever say she needs a tool to support her brain, okay? You just said that as a man, you need a brain supporting tool to actually actively listen and participate in a conversation, which I find mind-blowing. Let's move on.
Answer me this question. Since I've started using Otter, has it improved the way I listen to the things you say to me? Be honest.
It has. Yes, it has.
So it's made me a better husband, okay? Guys listening to the show right now, if you want one tip, download Otter and use it. But don't come back to me if there are privacy concerns. Isabella.
So next on the list, number 3 or 4. I've lost the count already. Descript. We've used Descript in the past. It is a tool that's constantly evolving. It started off with audio enhancements. They heavily introduced video into the mix, and it's one of those tools that keeps on giving. They do have transcriptions included. They do have a free plan where you can try out Descript and maybe upload some of your audio and video and test it out. It's mrc.fm/Descript if you would like to give it a go. They are constantly adding AI tools into the mix. They already do things like overdubbing, regenerating. They have AI effects like eye contact, and they remove filler words, which is a big one. Have the studio sound that enhances your audio in one click, and a million other things. So it's an interesting one.
That's interesting. And we never need to use the filler word removal on me because I never say those words. But of course, Isabella has a great use case for that tool.
Thanks. That's really, really good.
To break down exactly what you've said about Descript, and I will say Descript, so that the transcription of this episode picks up that tool, because it might say Descript, the script, and then it's going to get lost. But yes, there are a lot of good features. Overdub, I wanted to break down something you said about that. So overdub is where you can take a word you said, scrub over it, type in a new word, and providing you've trained it up on your voice, it will replace that word in your own voice. So you could say, I'll see you next Monday, and then you could highlight Monday and change it to Wednesday, and it will seamlessly change it as if you said Wednesday without needing to re-record. So that's a killer feature. Another reason I really like Descript is it has really good, probably the best at the moment, text-based editing available. And not just text-based editing of audio, but text-based editing of video as well. So they've introduced that. They've made it really slick. It's a great interface. It's a great app. And I found that creating things like YouTube Shorts and Shorts with really nice captioning on works really well there. Now, there are other competitors out there like Soul short clip creators, and Riverside does a great job with magic clips as well. But Descript has a great advantage in overdubbing, short clips with captions, and text-based editing for certain.
Yes, absolutely. They support 23 languages in transcription. You get 1 hour per month of recording transcriptions included in the free plan. Other plans start from $15 to $30 a month, depending on what you would like to do. If you pay annually, again, that price goes down, but more or less that's what it is. So it's another great tool. And as I say, it's one that keeps on evolving. It's definitely one to watch. It's the team that's constantly adding. They're very active in various different things. So it's kind of like when you are on the hunt for a tool like that, you kind of want somewhere where you know that they're going to be on it with the latest technology. And I feel like Riverside is like that. Descript is definitely like that too. And it's important consideration, because it's like once you start using something, if you are like me, you don't want to be changing every month. However, if you have a shiny object syndrome like Mike, you might be wanting to change tools every month. You never know. So there you go. But let's add both perspectives just in case.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about one of the OGs in the transcription space. We've been using this one for a long time, and they had AI in the name of their tool before having AI in the name of your tool was trendy. We're talking about Sonix. Sonix.ai. They've been around for a while, and they were definitely trendy before this whole craze that kicked off. And I bet they've seen an uptick in users recently. What does Sonix do really well? Well, you can go and try it yourself. Link will be in the description to this video or audio podcast, so go and find the show notes. It's really good at translating multiple languages really well. It gives you a confidence score on those translations. So if there's any word it's not sure about, it'll highlight it in orange for I'm a little bit not sure to red, I'm very not sure, and you can go in and manually make those changes. So that's good, because when we talk about transcription tools, they can all essentially do the same thing at their core. That is, turn what we speak into written text. But the question is, how well can they do it? And some of them have weaknesses. Some of them say they're 99% accurate. Whisper from OpenAI is supposed to be really, really good. But what you want to know is if the AI is not sure what was said, you'd like the heads up, and Sonix does that really well. It also works well with multiple speakers as well. It works well with multiple file formats, so whether it's audio or video. And also, Isabella, as I've said before, and I've done videos about Sonix on my channel before, I have never seen a tool that throws out so many options after you've got that transcript. You can download a doc file, a PDF file, you can download subtitle files, you can download educational files, whatever they are of your transcript, and so many more. So if you're looking for a very specific formatting of your transcript, Sonix might have a USP in that area too.
Now, another thing that Sonix does that is quite unique to it is the fact that it will auto-generate summaries based on your transcript. So you can ask it to give you like bullet points from, based on this transcript. It's great for show notes and summaries that you would like to publish in the written content, because you don't have to take it from that tool somewhere else like ChatGPT to use it. And maybe it may hallucinate it from time to time, it may not, but with Sonix.ai, they say that it works, and it works really well. So clearly they have some backend integration with other AI tools like that to make it happen. But I find that that's quite interesting USP, so to speak, to Sonix.ai that I haven't seen elsewhere. Although I am under no illusion that that will come into other tools sooner rather than later. Because it's just a no-brainer, and I would assume it's quite easy to integrate. Price-wise, you can pay as you go. They charge you $10 per hour, or you can have a premium subscription when you subscribe and pay monthly. It's like $5 for hour, and there are some other pricing options available. They are also very hot on the fact that it's a collaborative tool, so you can add different users. So if you have organization where you need to collaborate with others and you wanted others to have access to things like that, this tool seemingly makes it super easy.
What is really interesting about Sonix, and previously, years ago now, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I met the team from Sonix. So that was really interesting. I remember asking at the time, this was, years ago now, like, are you trying to be a podcast or video host? And at the time, the answer was, well, transcription is the number one thing, but it's interesting you say that, because we've had that question a lot. One thing that I think we should throw in as well is you can upload audio and video files and embed them on websites. When you actually get it transcribed, there is a little embed button in the top right, and I have actually used this feature before. So when I did the Adobe Audition podcast and interviewed Adobe folks and users of Audition, I published that on our website. And obviously there was an RSS feed and all of that. But for the actual web-hosted version of that podcast, I just embedded Sonix, because it was way back in the day, before even Descript. It was giving me the ability to embed a podcast in a website, have someone click play, and have the transcript flash up in front of that person while the podcast was playing, and also skip to chapters. And this was available like way before these other companies hopped on board, with the AI features. So yeah, really forward-thinking company. And it sounds like from what you've said, Isabella, they're adding new features too.
They are. So just looking at the storage that you just mentioned, the one thing to keep in mind, however, if you were going to use that, they pay-as-you-go standard plan will host compressed files. So they will compress the files, whereas you would need to pay the monthly subscription to host them as the original. And then you do have still storage restrictions based on how much you pay. So just worth to keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily rely on it as a hosting platform of some sort in the long term, but it could be a good bonus if you need a one-off help from time to time.
I think that's really sound advice, Isabella. And the thought there that I didn't think of is, unless you're paying a little bit more, you're going to get compressed, lossy sounding audio files. It's the right tool for the right job. It's the same as, I've been using a lot of tools for productivity. And while I've just started getting into Notion, it technically has unlimited file uploads, which is amazing. And I'm like, could I use Notion for cloud storage? But because all those files will be stored in documents and pages and databases, it's not quite as intuitive as Dropbox or Google Drive, and they probably have limits on, and they probably even compress the images you upload as well. So again, same with Sonix and podcast hosting and YouTube and all of that. Use the right tool for the right job. What are we going to talk about next?
I think that we were going to throw in Rev. That's one tool that I used to use.
Okay.
I used to use Rev until I no longer have to.
For those that don't know, let's talk about Rev. So my memory of Rev, we were using this a lot back in the day, again, I say back in the day, 3 or 4 years ago, when we had the ability to use real humans to transcribe your audio and verify that it was super, super accurate. So tell me, Isabella, because I've lost touch with what Rev are doing, are they still in the game? Is it still real humans, or have they gone all AI now? And why do you bring that one into the mix?
I love Rev for incredible ease of use with YouTube. And this is why I've used it for a really long time. So they have automated transcription, which is AI generated. They do have human transcription, so you can pay a little bit more. But what I really like about the service, I haven't found anywhere else, you can connect your YouTube channel directly to Rev, and without uploading any files, you can just select which YouTube videos you would like to get transcriptions, captions, done for, and it will put them back into YouTube for you. So you don't have to, there is no need to download the file, upload it to YouTube. It automatically does the thing for you. You still can go back into Rev and download the files if you wish to, if you want to do something more with it. But it makes that transition from like, okay, I've got a YouTube video and I really would like to add captions to it. It makes it really, really easy, especially if, say, you wanted to go back and add captions to some old videos, right? So we're not even talking about new content, it's existing content. This, by far, is the easiest tool to do it with. Obviously, it will add up, especially if your content is quite long or if you have a lot of different videos. But they charge 25 cents per minute on AI transcriptions. But human transcriptions are $1.50 per minute. So it can get expensive really fast. You know, it's not cheap. If you have 60-minute video, it can get quite expensive. They also do translations. So they do global subtitles. So you can say, okay, for this video, I would like to add subtitles in French, German, Italian, Polish, whatever. And obviously they will charge you for each language and do the translations. So it's great. But I feel like you no longer need to be paying for this because you can get those transcriptions free with other tools you may be already using.
That YouTube feature where you can link your account sounds like a game changer. But I agree. I remember back in the day paying real human rates for transcription. It sounds horrible to say that, doesn't it? We've replaced the humans now, but in this case, you know, it's much cheaper to pay a machine or to pay for processing power than a human. And I'm sure humans will agree, actually, you know, I might have spent my time reading through a lot of transcripts and correcting certain words to now I can do something else with my life. Maybe, possibly, arguably, that's a good thing. I'd like to give some honorary mentions to wrap up as we're running quite long on this episode. So I'd like to give an honorary shout out to Whisper Transcribe. It's a relatively new app. It uses OpenAI's Whisper API. Whisper is supposed to be one of the most accurate transcription APIs available out there. So this developer, his name is Lauren, who's based in Austria, I believe, and he's created this app. It's got all kinds of AI built into it as well, and I think he's putting a lot of heart into it. So we'll link it in the notes if you want to go try it out. We've got a nice little affiliate link you can use. It helps him, it helps us. So go and try it out and see what you think. It works on a credits-based system, and you can transcribe your podcast or your YouTube channel, and then you can create AI content like tweets or LinkedIn posts using it. So that's quite good. There's also Seamless M4T, and with a name like that, Isabella will do an eye roll. But Seamless M4T is actually made by Meta. And again, it's up there on the level of accuracy with Whisper, arguably potentially more accurate. It's developed by Meta, of course, those behind Facebook, and it's really good at taking multiple languages and doing the translation, not just text to text, but also speech to speech. That's something that's developing. And the final honorable mention I'll say before you come in and have the last word, Isabella, is Adobe Premiere Pro, because I use that software all the time. I edit podcasts and videos in that software. It has great transcription. It's done on device. So if you're a bit antsy about sending all your transcripts up to the cloud, it does that really well. And it can handle multiple languages, and it can detect multiple speakers on device really well. So if you've already got the Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, you may as well use basically free transcriptions inside Adobe Premiere Pro. So Isabella, time to wrap up, and then maybe we'll also take a look at or do you want to take a look now at what Otter did with the transcript from earlier?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, and then I'll let you have the final word. So I've got I've named this transcript of podcast, and the keywords it's given me there: Isabella, Riverside, app, Premiere Pro, transcribe, summary, ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous made it in there, and a load of other words. And then you see it's put my name there, Mike Russell, so it identified me as a speaker. I didn't put that in, so it knows my voice now, so it knows that's Mike.
But you had to obviously give that information to it in the past, so it hasn't just magically decided, oh, it's Mike Russell, he's famous, of course I know his voice. Don't make it sound like that, it's not the case. Okay.
That would be really creepy if that were the case. Then we got a summary that's made. It's not that great, but it just says transcription tools for podcasting. Mike Russell discusses various transcript tools, including Riverside, Otter.ai, Premiere Pro, Meta, Descript, spelled incorrectly, Sonix, and Whisper Transcribe.
I think that this wasn't the best example to share.
And you can also, just one last thing I wanted to show is the Otter.ai chat. So this is really cool because you can chat with Otter.ai. It's like ChatGPT for your transcripts. So I can say, at Otter, what are the action items? Okay. And Otter will think, and I wonder what, based on the transcript, Mike Russell did not explicitly state any action items. The transcript was an introduction to different tools they plan to discuss on their podcast, and then it proceeds to list those tools. So while you say that might not be the best example, it shows you the power. If that had been a 30-minute meeting where you gave me firm action points at the end, this would be insane.
Okay.
Final word, Isabella.
Final word. Let us know in the comments, what tools are you using for transcriptions? Have we missed something? Is there an incredible new tool that maybe has surfaced a week ago or a day ago, as they all do at the moment, that we haven't heard of yet? Let us know in the comments. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure to like this episode, subscribe, and we will see you next time.